But if we're talking about the change in bigger organizations, it's more difficult because layers of hierarchy. So the top end managers, they don't want losing the power, and they try to control everything, and they try to control the employees that much so the employees can't even influence the change. The change is not possible because of that hierarchy, because of the fear of losing the power, and which destroys loads and loads of companies. Another thing is bureaucracy. When you have bureaucracy and you have to go through so many levels to make small change, it's very, very difficult as well. And another thing which I have noticed is comfort in a routine. So when they establish that routine, and when the company don't have culture of change and continuous improvement, it's much, much, much more difficult to change. However, there is a lot of examples when the big companies, big organizations, huge, they just fail, and they just bankrupt because of that fear of change, because of fear of losing the power, and so on. Also, the lack of ownership. If you try to make the change and you fail, taking that ownership. Yes, I have made mistake, I have learned from it, and we will do in future, we'll do different. Instead of taking that ownership, nobody wants to take that. The failure, it's always been looked at as weakness in a way. Also, another thing is short-term focus. So many companies looking in a way for the long term, but in reality it's only the short term, the quarters, how we're going to survive this quarter, next quarter, and so on. And they not open the vision wide enough and look how things are changing, how world is changing, how much more technologies are available, and so on. Another thing is communication gaps. So when employees want to make a change, they can't reach the hierarchy of the top end managers, and it makes the change almost impossible. And sometimes when change coming from the top and they try to spread down, it's that resistance from the employees, but we will talk about that in next videos.